Justin is my youngest brother. We started to notice some signs of what we didn't know was a mental illness then, but we now know he was showing signs of living with schizophrenia. Unfortunately, Justin didn't get the support and help that he needed early, and it manifested into a schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. That's what he was diagnosed with at the age of 23, and the two together are considered schizoaffective disorder. Shortly after his diagnosis, my brother Justin completed suicide within 5 months of receiving a diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder. There's a lot of things that I believe that could have been different when it came to Justin and him receiving treatment. One, it could have, if we had known earlier or sooner. We hope we would have gotten him the right help to hopefully prevent him from suffering as long as he did. I think if there was more access to services in our community, we really didn't know of them or where they were at. So, I mean, you could have the information but still not have the tools to make things happen, you know? And even after he had his diagnosis, I don't believe he was still heard or seen as a whole person. From our conversations before being diagnosed, we feared being labeled, being treated different. So, even after his diagnosis, I don't think there was even a change in how I would say the community, our family treated him, meaning we really didn't know what to do or how to help him. So he was oftentimes alone.
The disparities within the mental health care, specifically within the Black community, is one I think we don't talk about much. You know, I always bring it back to slavery, right? So where we weren't able to talk about what we were going through, it was like, shut up and do your job or do the work, right? Because if you show any ounce of weakness, what does that mean for you? You know, when you're getting beat or when you're told to do X, Y, and Z, you know, you're not supposed to exhibit those emotions and feelings. So again, I feel like just through history, you know, it's just been passed down from generation to generation. Think of our history, right, is the Tuskegee experiments. Black men that were injected with syphilis, but it was said to be helping them, but they were actually injected with that disease. Women who were slaves were operated on with hysterectomies without their consents. And so we just think about that, just like how we don't trust those systems because we felt like they were manipulating us and being deceitful, and we saw the end result of what happened to us. And so it is natural for us as Black people to be skeptical. What therapy? You want me to tell somebody all my business? You know, how can I be sure that you're not gonna take it further than just our conversation within your office?
We have a lot of gun death here in Wisconsin. The majority of it are gun suicides, just like my mom. Here in Milwaukee, here in Wisconsin, it is easier to get a gun than it is to get your first mental health care appointment. Think about that, put that in context, right? Think about if you were in the throes of crisis and you already don't know how to get the kind of help that you need. It might take you a month, 6 weeks before you can get into that first appointment. But here, while you're waiting that 4 to 6 weeks to get in there, you can go buy a gun. Gun suicides happen every 22 minutes in this country. Every 22 minutes. When you introduce a gun into the equation of someone who was already mentally unwell, like my mom was, that is a deadly result that's going to happen.
Hello, this is Trony with the Next Step Clinic, calling to speak with Ms. Tia. Again, my name is Trony. I'm an autism family navigator with the Next Step Clinic, calling to in regards to the referral that was made for your child. Thank you. What I do for work is I'm an autism family navigator with the Next Step Clinic. I work with families who have concerns for their child's neurodevelopment as well as their mental health. I don't know, I just wish that he was here to see where we're at now. So I probably wouldn't be married right now if it wasn't for him. Probably wouldn't have beautiful kids. I probably wouldn't be here talking, you know, working with families and helping them address their needs and really paying attention to those early signs of when there's something going on. And when I think about what's left behind and not having my brother with me, with us. I mean, there's so many moments, you know, he doesn't get the opportunity to see the changes that I've made in my life, you know, because of him. The influence he's had on me, because he encouraged me, you know, to be better than I once was.
We don't value those who struggle with mental health care. They are cast aside. I consider and tell you, as a 43-year-old man, I've attempted suicide 3 times in my life. It is okay to not be okay, and we as Black men have to be strong enough to be willing to admit that, because too many men of color especially go untreated, which leads to further issues within their life that are going to prevent them or inhibit them from being able to live the life that they would choose to, because again, depression is lying to them. We need to destigmatize mental health. We need to destigmatize those of us who've attempted suicide, accept that people have, and then be the champions for them, enable them to be the champions for themselves so that they can find their own self-worth again, so they can find the value in their own lives.
Especially things with our Black men and our Black boys, we tell them, you know, you're crying, you're acting like a girl, stop it, man up. And then we wonder why many of our Black men are so angry, because they've been told, don't share your emotions, because only women do that. And so I think we have to even realize like how we are attributing to those factors. I hear a lot of clients that want somebody that looks like them on the other end of that couch. And I think just having it accessible, so even in certain communities, you might not have access to be able to connect with the therapist office because it might be miles away from where you live. And also too, we're talking about fees and rates and insurance. You know, sometimes unfortunately, you might have to fight the insurance just to get your mental health needs serviced, or you might feel that therapy is too much in terms of cost, and so you might just want to eliminate it altogether. But people not knowing that there's power when we do speak up and we begin to open up, so we can find different solutions and tools and techniques to better ourselves.
Last year was first time honoring Justin and celebrating Justin's life, and in a way where we came together to do a bike ride called Ride Over Stigma. With that, we shared our stories, we raised awareness, we let everyone know that there's, you know, that they're not alone, there's nothing to be ashamed about, and we offered those resources if anyone was feeling that way or in need of help.
1, 2, 3,
Ride Over Stigma! I'm excited to do it again this year. It's a small way for us to show our appreciation to those who are living this life or who are on this journey, you know, recovery or looking to get on a path to recovery, and saying that, guess what? We're here for you. We're not alone. Your life deserves to be celebrated and talked about just as much as anybody else, just as much as these athletes who are on the TV screen. A lot of our people in our community, we don't even know about the talents and gifts they have because we shrink them down to what their illness is. Or because of my brother, he's given me this new passion, mission, purpose, and I'm forever grateful for him.